Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Factorio with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to my little corner of chaos. In today's episode, we are going to try and bring a little bit of order into what has become an absolute chaotic mess, as right now our old set of machines, our old set of tracks, our old set of pretty much everything is now a little bit redundant. But not only is it redundant, it is actively affecting our output at the higher stages. I've not yet went ahead and upgraded our blue science, which is still a complete mess, because it isn't really worth doing until we can sort out our smelting, our electricity needs, our copper smelting. Everything at the moment is suffering majorly. Even our oil production has slowed to an almost halt, as we can see by looking at the oil pump jacks, that's what they're called, over here. This one's only giving me 0.6, this one at 0.8, 0.5, and 0.3 per second respectively. Whereas at the start they were all above 1, one of them I believe was above 3 per second. So as you can imagine, we really need some more oil. And by the looks of the map, which I just moved around really weirdly, look at that, we have 2 more oil sets nearby and 1 in the middle of our factory. If we can get all 3 of those, that would be glorious. So there's the oil over there. Thankfully the pump jack doesn't really take up too much space, and we can pump that oil straight into the main pipeline by doing underground pipes. But the main thing we really need to do today is set up our electric furnaces and remove this belt over here making our ammunition, because it's a little bit redundant now, honestly. Although it's not the best idea to completely go off electricity, I am somewhat confident, which will probably bite me in the arse in the future, that we will be okay in terms of power even when we're fighting. Maybe. If we're lucky and everything goes well. We do have like 171 accumulators currently over here, so I think we should be okay. So what I'm going to do is remove everything I see as no longer needed, and then we'll be right back. And I think I'm also going to turn copper into pure electricity as well, which means our coal is not as useful as it used to be, which is really good because it means, once again, less transport belts. Well, space has been cleared, and we've added a load of electric furnaces where the old furnaces used to be. We have more furnaces than we used to have, and they are smelting at double the speed each. So hopefully, this should solve most of our iron problems. That is a lot more iron currently entering the system. In fact, at this point, it's the amount we're mining which is the issue, not how fast we're smelting it, which is very nice to see indeed. I've also went ahead and added a load more electric mining drills over on the copper mine, so now we've got enough copper as well for the system. I'm simply going to mirror this for the copper as well, so that way we have all of the copper plates and all of the iron plates we should need for the foreseeable future. The only thing I will need to do soon is replace these regular transport belts for the fast transport belts. I would also like to take this opportunity to quickly clarify something I said a moment ago. Now, I could have done some editing, but honestly, I'd rather explain myself. So, when I said I was going to be removing all of the gun turrets, I may have misspoke slightly. What I really should have said is I will be removing the ammunition processors for now, as I will be adding the piercing rounds being automatically created later on, because we really do need those. Against some of the larger enemies, it really does pay off to have the armor-piercing rounds, or I think there might even be better rounds, although saying that, now I've said that, I think I may be mistaken. Either way, it's really nice to have the armor-piercing rounds against some of the larger enemies we'll be fighting very, very soon. They are very tanky and very hard to kill easily. Now hopefully, yep, that has enough space to do what I want to do, and then that can curve around, and then we have more oil into the system as well. Although I will need some more iron to make all the pipes. Thankfully, look, it's already backed up. Well, at least one line of it's backed up. Either way, our iron is already backing up. That is absolutely fantastic. Now to do the same for the copper. I am, however, going to need some more electric furnaces, and I need more steel. Now, thankfully, steel has been backed up for quite some time, as I am going to have to do that as well. So, I'm going to quickly set up the steel smeltery and the copper smeltery, and I'll be right back. Or would it be called a forge? I don't know. I like the term smeltery regardless. An issue has occurred which I'm sure a lot of you saw coming. We are now under a bit of an energy crisis. Thankfully, it was very quickly solved by simply turning off the blue science production, and now everything is slowly grinding to a halt. Once everything has stopped being produced, all our energy is being used on defences, which means we are completely safe. But of course, that is pretty boring, and we're never going to progress if we only power our defences. So what we're going to need to do a little bit earlier than expected is start making some solar panels automatically, because they take a very long time to craft in the inventory. As you can see down there, it isn't really reasonable for the character to continuously produce them. Now, thankfully, they're not actually too difficult to make. They're steel, electronic circuits, and copper plates. And although we have been a little bit annoyed with electronic circuits earlier, they are still pretty easy to make. Simply 3 of the copper wire productions to every 2 of the electronic circuit productions. At least that's what I remember. The assembly machines 3 to 2. At least that's what I think it is. If it's not that, it's something similar. It's remarkably easy. Let's get to work adding that to the end of our production line. And this will be the utmost importance. This is quite an important thing to produce. So like I say, until this is all sorted out and we have a load more solar panels to collect energy during the day, we're not going to allow blue science any further than here. So everything simply backs up. Now, how many of these do we have? Answer, 2. Okay, so we need more of these, and let me guess, we need more iron? Yeah, of course we need more iron. We're also going to need more copper, so let's just grab all of this until our inventory is almost full. And then let's make just loads of assembly machines, and then a couple of those as well. This should be pretty easy in comparison to the stuff we've been doing recently, and I'm going to use this section up here to do it. So, do we have any more laser defense systems in our hand? No, we don't. Can we make some more? Yes, we can, very easily. That empty bit of track then, I could have swore I saw like an engine roaming down there or something. I'm not making engines yet, even though I do have the power to do so. And the power to stammer while saying so. There we go. Now that section is totally protected. Yay. Well, would you look at that. I've actually planned ahead and it all looks pretty neat. It seems like this is going to be quite efficient. I'm feeling rather ill just looking at it. Anyway, where is the copper wire? So now let me fumble around trying to figure out how things work. That's more like it, I think. All of you will be copper. There we are. And all of you will be the delicious thing known as electronic circuits. And this is how we should set up this section down below as well. There we are, circuits being made, steel and the electronic circuits are there, which means we should have everything we need to make solar panels, which are made with steel, electronic circuits and copper plates. Yes indeed, we should have everything. So let's see if that'll actually work then. Actually having everything and actually having everything work are 2 very different things. At least, when I'm trying to do engineering anyway. The really sad thing is, let me remind you all, I used to be an engineer. Well, a car mechanic, but my official title was car engineer, so let's just pretend that's true engineering in terms of this style of stuff, which it really isn't, but still. There we go. That's all unneat and, well, horrible looking again. That's more my style. Now you, could you please produce solar panels? There we are. Now, if I actually have a fast inserter, that will make me very happy. Wow, a single fast inserter left. That is beautiful. By the looks of it, I may actually need fast inserters here as well. That's taking way too long to put everything in. Oh, thanks for putting that on the floor. Very helpful of you. So now we are making steel... Sorry, no, we are making solar panels. I was about to say we're making steel chests. That would be really easy on a side note. It's literally just steel. And you're done. So what's making this take so long then? It takes 5 steel plates and 15 electronic circuits. So it's definitely these which are making us wait so long for this to actually start crafting. So if we make some more quick inserters, we can put them all along here. Then that way we can grab all of the electronic circuits and the steel a lot faster. We are moving to green energy. Soon the aliens will hate us a lot less. To be honest, if we can completely move over to solar panels, which I admit is very difficult, we could get all of this sorted out very, very quickly. You're missing copper because I didn't put this all the way along. Remember when I said about how I planned this? I just mean this section. Ignore this section at the back actually making the solar panels, completely referring to the section on the left. Left, right, left, right. I know how to do stuff. Wow. What do you made, 16? You know, that's actually pretty quick. So, where are we going to put the solar panels? That's also a very good question. I'm not sure where the solar panels are going to go. We need a bit of a solar farm. And one area I've been putting a couple of them down is over here, so perhaps we could use this segment. I mean, we're not using it for anything, and it's not like we can really pipe anything down through that tiny gap there. So this island and this little section here will be the solar isles. Now, I'm not sure the best way to put down solar panels. I'm guessing I just can't fit that there. But this looks about right. We can still move down the line, so yeah, we'll just go with this. We'll just hope this is one of the better ways of doing things. The less pollution we produce, though, the less likely the hives to the far west and the far east will start attacking us, as there are hives in both of those directions, which, honestly, I have been a little bit worried about recently. They're not looking too friendly. And I'm looking delicious to them. Okay, that's all I had in my inventory, so what we should do now is grab all of the excess accumulators we've been producing, and all of that. Oh, hello. You are apparently out of electricity. Why? Oh, you're simply not attached anymore. There you go. Because this whole section isn't attached anymore. I've been doing renovations. Things don't work at the best of times. When I've been messing around and moving things around, it's to be expected that we're not going to have everything up and running all the time. I just can't bring myself to throw stuff away. It's just, I know at some point I'm going to need something and then I'll be kicking myself because I didn't keep it. I know what I'm like. Yes, I am a Factorio hoarder, I admit. Yeah, during the night time, all of our energy is going away. But if we can make more solar panels and keep that going for a while, we can hopefully hoard enough energy during the daytime to at least keep the basics running during the night. This may not look very eco-friendly, however, whilst I was placing all of those accumulators, we managed to make a whopping 135 solar panels, which means I've already ran out of space, and so I've moved onto this island. So, to save the environment, I am having to burn down the trees. It may not seem very productive, but it is very fun, and finally getting some use out of the flamethrower, which honestly is far too fun. So that's pretty much that. Although I would say that grenades would probably be a bit faster, but is there anything more fun than burning things down? I really think there isn't, and sadly, this piece of oil here will never get used, because I've already completely used up all the space we have. Now, to get back, I actually have to walk across this piece of land here, so I've got to make sure this bridge section here is free of solar panels, so let's work on the top and then move down. This is going to be so much power. It's 60 kilowatts per solar panel. We have 135 down here. I don't know how many we had beforehand, but either way, that's a lot of power. But it really does show how space inefficient solar panels are. The steam boilers take up so little space for how much power they actually produce. Although it would be lovely if we could turn off the steam boilers for good. If we could do that, the amount of pollution we're generating would be so much lower. Of course, though, sadly, a lot of our systems, like the electric furnaces and stuff, do still produce pollution, even if you are powering them via solar panels, just a lot less than if you're powering them from coal power, which, as you can imagine, is very, very pollution heavy. How many do we have left? Oh, thank the Lord. This is the last of the solar panels. The Dark Lords are pleased, because this took way too long. I'm actually curious how many more solar panels are now left since I started making all of these. Yep, this entire section is now completely filled with solar panels. How much are we actually producing? Whoa, that is a lot. Yep, completely by solar panels. There is no power currently coming off of the steam power. That is absolutely amazing. That's actually wonderful. Which means if we're lucky, our pollution, although I don't think it will go down, I'm not sure how it works in this game, if pollution will actually recede or anything, but we might be able to get away with not aggroing these all the darn time, because I am now aggroing this section, this section, this section, this section. It's not very safe to walk around at night currently in the Lathrixian Legion. Now, how many solar panels have we got? Only 44. Well, now 45. I guess the problem is now we've used up all the backlog of steel. We need to start making steel faster if we're going to continue to add more and more solar panels. Now, eventually, once I have added enough solar panels, we can start working on something else, like the engines for a car, or perhaps just getting the blue science over to the labs, or perhaps neatening up the blue science area, or making flying drones which can take resources from place to place, or repair buildings. There is a lot of stuff we can currently be doing. And how many of those? And we have 53 more accumulators currently created as well. This has actually turned out really, really well, which is kind of bizarre, honestly. There we are, make some more electric furnaces. Then once they're created, we can just place them down here. We don't really need too many, honestly. From my perspective at the moment, we don't need too much steel right now. We will need a lot more in the future, but as of right now, we're not really using too much, so it's not too bad. It's not our highest priority. I just need enough now so I can keep on making solar panels at a really good rate. Then I'll just go on the back section as well. Okay, let's sort this out and I'll be right back again. Hopefully we can protect against that attack. 50 more solar panels have been added off camera, and Solar Panel Island is almost completely full. And I've realised something a little bit saddening. Even if all of our accumulators are completely full of energy, the system will revert to steam power if no other direct source of energy is found. The accumulators will only be used as a last resort. So if we ever do want to go fully green, we're going to just simply have to remove our steam power, which is a little bit scary, honestly, because if things go wrong, things are really going to go wrong, especially since I'm relying so heavily on lasers for protection. So what I think I'm going to do is add probably another 100 accumulators, probably more honestly, and then we're going to turn off the pumps and thus turn off steam power, which will be fantastic because it means, yay, eco-friendliness and everything is all nice and clean. Pollution might even lessen, if pollution does lessen in this game. But at the same time, it is very, very terrifying because if things go wrong, like I said, we're basically just going to outright die, which is not really part of the plan, honestly. Dying wouldn't be particularly fun in this game. Thank you, autosaves, at least, I suppose. Now, I'm actually a little bit nervous, because there's a tiny little hive right there, tiny little nest, so I do need to be a little bit careful around here. Perhaps putting down a couple of lasers would be good, just to make sure nothing goes wrong. Also, I've been placing these wrong, because unlike the solar panels, I don't place them with their energy connecting. I place it like this, at the absolute maximum range. Right? Yes, that's correct. Okay, now I remember how I've been placing these. Also, we could probably do some math and just figure it out anyway. So these can, if I have a quick look-see, they can output 300 kilowatts each, which isn't bad. That's really not bad in any way, especially when you look at the steam engine is 510. However, they can only hold 5 megajoules of energy, so they do deplete very, very quickly, in about 15 seconds, in fact, just over 15 seconds. I don't want to do the math right now. It's not very long until one completely depletes. So we do need to do a little bit of math though in a while, just to make sure we don't starve for energy halfway through the night. Also, I had way more of those in my inventory than I thought I did. That's kind of awesome. You can go here. And then you can go there. Ah, I didn't place this one correctly. This is pretty much what I normally do off camera. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead now until I've added some more of these and figured out how I'm going to protect this section. Then, I'm going to turn off steam power. And so, it has begun. The first night has now arrived without steam power. The pumps have been cut, which means we are no longer getting water to the steam engines or the boilers, so we are relying only on the energy we managed to store yesterday from the power of the sun. The solar panels are now turning off completely at only 3 kilowatts per second, 2 kilowatts per second, and they are gone completely. We are now relying completely on the basic accumulators and nothing else. And as we can see, they are producing a lot of power. The problem is they will be draining rather quickly as well. Now, to make things fair, I have turned back on the blue science production. I am making sure I will be researching all the way through the night, and if we get attacked, of course, the lasers will be draining power as well. So here's hoping we can survive tonight. And if we do, the real test is tomorrow. Can we completely fill all of our stores again before the next night? If we can, we are now officially a little bit more eco-friendly than we were before. And perhaps pollution might go away, who knows? Perhaps I should Google it. I guess I'll just stand here and wait then. Well, that was actually quite surprising. Only moments after daybreak, our energy stores are completely restocked. We managed to hit 22 megawatts from all of our solar panels. Our solar panel island at the moment has no trouble whatsoever keeping all of these stores filled, which means right now, our biggest problem is simply not enough energy storage. Our solar panels are definitely enough in number, so from now on, we should be a little bit more eco-friendly. And with that, I am afraid I'm all out of time for today's episode. This took a little bit longer than you may expect, honestly. A lot of me umming and erring about placement of things, and trying to plan a little bit for the future in terms of the blue science. In the next episode, we'll be doing something a little bit more interesting. We'll be getting either into the engines for cars, or we'll be going into drones, as I have been researching a lot of the logistic drone stuff and the builder drone stuff, so we can do quite a bit next time. So once again, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Factorio is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.